Hey, yo, what it do? Y'all, today is Mother's Day. And if I'm being honest, I ain't even gonna lie, I got sad today. Like, shoot, to really keep it 100, bruh, I actually found myself breaking down a little bit today. Not because my mom isn't here, because my mom is still here. But if I'm being real, man, my siblings and I haven't always honored her the way we should. And that hurts to even say out loud. It feels like ever since my mom and my stepdad's divorce, like every holiday, every birthday, every Mother's Day, every family function has always been buried under unheard hearts, open wounds, man, unresolved tension, conversations that never fully happened, and the pain that may have never stopped bleeding and never fully healed. Like, I cannot tell y'all, like, how many times me and my siblings give my mom hell. Like, we argue, we challenge her, we question how she handled things, how she communicates, how she says certain things, how she processes, how she responds, how she shuts down, all of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like it be so, it's easy. You know how like when people be telling you their story and you be leaning in and it's easy for you on the outside looking in to try to put yourself in that person's shoes and be like, oh, well, like if it was me, I would have handled it like this. Or if it was me, I would have did that. And it's like, I just feel like it's so easy for you to say what you would have did. You know what I mean? But it's not your situation. Like, it'll never be your situation because you're not that person, you know? And so it's like one of the things that I've learned, like just looking at my family dynamics, especially like even my relationship with my mom and my dad, like it took me a while to actually forgive them. And I'm not even gonna lie, like healing is something that's ongoing, you know, and you'll never understand why your parents move the way that they move or operated the way they operate. But it's like one of the things that my dad told me one day when me and him was having a hard conversation. And I was just telling him about how I felt and, you know, how I didn't really agree with, you know, just some of the things that they did or that he did. And he told me, he said, Ebony, I did the best I knew how to do. And it was something about that moment for me that actually relieved me. Like, it gave me, it didn't make the situation all right. You know what I'm saying? But it did, it made me actually pause and think about the tools that my dad had to work with and didn't have to work with. Like, I think it's so easy for us today because, you know, a lot of us go to therapy now and we have language for a lot of the things that we're feeling and going through and stuff like that. But when it comes to our parents' generation, they don't have that stuff. You know, a lot of how they process things is learned behavior from their parents. And so it's like, I think for us, when it comes to like me and my siblings, like if I'm being honest, sometimes we find ourselves trying to tell our own mom what she should have done, what she should have said, how she should have handled marriage, how she should have handled us, and how she should have communicated. And it's like I was sitting up here like literally, I feel like I had an out of body experience one of the last few times that we all got into an argument. And I was just looking around the room and I was just like, wow, man, we actually got some nerve. Like, the older I get, the more I'm realizing maybe it's not that my mom don't care. Maybe my mom was surviving. And I feel like we don't think about our parents being in survival mode. We just look at them as mom and dad, and it's like we never actually separate the title from the person. You know, like it took me to start having to look at my dad as not just dad, but as this man who, you know, didn't have the best relationship with his mom, didn't really have a relationship with his dad, like didn't have a whole lot of guidance for real, like literally just going through life, traveling through life, figuring it out as you go. And I have to do the same thing with my mom, where it's like, yeah, my mom grew up in a 2-parent household, but she was experiencing some things too. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like she was experiencing life on top of life on top of life. And if y'all know anything about life, life do not stop. Life do not slow down. And so I think one of the things that I was hearing Pastor Shamika Daniels talk about today was the fact that we are taught how to be strong, but we aren't taught how to process them. And, you know, I agree with that. You know, I feel like when it comes to like learning how to process your emotions, you know, even process your thoughts, it's like there's no real guidance for that, because it's like, again, life do not slow down for anybody. Life just be lifing, you know. And I honestly feel like when I recognized that my mom was just like surviving and she did the best that she could with what she had. And again, I'm not saying like my mom has, you know what I'm saying, like just always done things the best or this, that, and the third. But it's like at some point we do have to pause and just think about her as a human. You know what I'm saying? Think about her as just like, you know, a woman and not mom. And so it's like when I did that, and I'm thinking about even the conversations that I have with her now that are hard, it's like, man, she in her 50s and she still can't talk about certain things. You know what I'm saying? And so it really just made me start wanting to give her grace, because it's like, dang, I'm not even gonna lie. I know I'm a dream chaser, right? I can't imagine having to put my life on hold for my kids. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine somebody like taking away my ability to execute and chase my dreams and do all the things that I said I want to do in life. I can't imagine what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? I can't even imagine the type of mindset that actually puts you in. I can't imagine the type of depression that you're sitting like in. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, you know, it's just one of those things, man, where it's like I start having to have compassion and be like empathetic to like her, you know, my stepdad's situation, my father's situation, like just being more empathetic to everybody's situation, including myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember like before, like my mom, she became a mom at 18. Like she had my older brother when she was 18. And it was like before fully becoming who she was, before fully healing, before fully understanding herself, before fully processing whatever she went through as a little girl, she was already responsible for raising somebody else. And even that, before she even became a mom, like she was responsible for helping raise her niece. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and I feel like that I can relate to as a big sister, because it's like I've been a big sister. I tell people I've been a big sister my whole life, because that's what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? Like I have an older brother, but I'm the one that truly like would look after my younger siblings. I would even look after my big brother. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like by default, you just become the person that's like responsible, you know what I'm saying? Like for your siblings. And so it's like, and that happens at a very young age. And it's like nobody teaches you how to do that stuff. you just kind of get active. You know what I mean? And so it becomes like second nature to you. Like, okay, boom, got to step in and, you know, be responsible. Even if whatever you don't feel like doing, okay, I'll take care of it. Oh, I can't have that conversation with them. Okay, I'll take care of it. Like, you just always get in this I'll take care of it mode. Never even stopping to think, can I take care of it? Do I want to take care of it? It's almost like you forgot that you even get an option to do so. And I feel like that's what has happened with my mom a lot. My mom is a nurturer, like at heart, right? And so it's like she always ends up being the person that, like, she's a people pleaser. You know what I'm saying? And it's like she's a people pleaser, and she find herself being put in situations that she don't necessarily agree with. And it's like, because she should have said no, but she ended up saying yes, it ends up backfiring. And then now she feels like she has to try to, you know, in a way correct the situation that might not be the best way to go about handling the situation. You know what I'm saying? But now she's moving out of, you know, regret and hurt and disappointment and exhaustion. And so, you know, it's just, I just feel like, man, I don't know, man. I just feel like we have been a part of the problem, which is like overlooking my mom. Like, and I'm not coming from a place of like, again, oh, she ain't never did no wrong or this, that, and the third. Like, that's that's what my siblings be on. Like, but I'm not saying that, but it's just like, nah, like, I'm just trying to come from a place of like empathy. You know what I'm saying? Just actually taking a moment to recognize, why did you start moving like that? Why did you start acting like that? Like, why when you unappreciated, unappreciated, you try to like take your love back? You know what I'm saying? Why when we talk about setting boundaries, why do you like get tight? And we actually had a conversation about that, and she was telling me, like, you know, y'all talk about boundaries, and it's like, we didn't know nothing about having boundaries. Like, you know, that's not something that we talked about or even like learned how to have. So when y'all are now talking about boundaries, 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 it's like, dang, I never had no boundaries. Like, yeah, I never even gave boundaries when it came to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need something, okay, I'll figure it out. And I was just like, honestly, I feel that. Like, I can honestly tell you, you know, there hasn't been one time, and I'm appreciative just being able to say this. There hasn't been one time where like I called my mom and she wasn't able to help me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like she my mom is the type of person, like, she gonna always look out. Even no matter how much we make her feel small, no matter how much we hurt her feelings, no matter how much we try to, you know, just, you know what I'm saying? Like, just kind of like not give her credit for the things that she did do. You know what I'm saying? And so that doesn't really be bothering her. And I understand that, because I'm just like, bro, if you think of it, think about how you feel when don't nobody give you the credit that you deserve. You know what I'm saying? Think about how you feel when people make you feel small or unseen or unheard. And now I got to try to voice my opinion as much as I can, even if that means cutting you off, because ain't nobody been listening to me. Don't nobody care enough to hear what I actually got to say and how I feel. You know what I'm saying? So it really makes me like want to like just do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, we judge our parents from the lens of who we are now, with therapy, with books, with podcasts, with emotional intelligence, with conversations around trauma, boundaries, attachment styles, nervous systems, inner child work. Like, we have language for this stuff today. And I feel like when we talk to our parents about this stuff, a lot of this stuff feels like a foreign language to them, because it's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean emotional intelligence? Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And so I just feel like they had to survive, man. Like they had to make it work. They didn't have they had don't tell my family business. They had children stay in a child's place. You know, they had stop crying before I give you something to cry about. Come on, like y'all know what I'm talking about, man. That's one of the things that I talk about with my younger siblings, man. I definitely feel like they had a voice at a very young age compared to when we had a voice. Like back in the day, like me and my siblings, we're only I think what 4 years apart, but that 4 years make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like I think they like 90. I think they was born in like 95 or 96, and I was born in 91. So y'all already know, like them 91, like that 91 era. I say 91 to maybe 93. But anything after that, man, I used to tell my brother and sister, like, yo, back in the day, if we would get into grown folks conversations, we'll get popped in the mouth for that. You know what I'm saying? And I used to get on them about that, like, yo, I just feel like they have a voice. They get to have their own opinion about what's going on in grown folks' business. And so I feel like, you know, because of that freedom, you know what I'm saying? It really grew into something else where it's like there becomes like a lack of respect somewhere down the line, because now you feel like I can voice my opinion. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with having a voice, but I think at the end of the day, you do have to learn how to use your voice. You know what I'm saying? Learn to speak, learn when not to speak. And I think the best example of this, do y'all remember when when Mary was looking for Jesus? Jesus was missing for like 3 days, and it was Passover, and so they thought that Jesus was out with family, but come to find out, Jesus had been in like the temple with, like, you know, some of the leaders and teachers and stuff like that. And so Mary finally, you know, find him, and she like, why do you have us looking all over for you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where have you been? What are you doing? And Jesus' response is like, woman, don't you know I'm about my father's business? Like, don't you know I'm in my father's house? And after that moment, y'all, Jesus was 12 when that happened. We didn't hear from Jesus for 18 years. And, you know, I think that story is funny and it's interesting because I think it's a great example of, even though you know who you are, even though you know you got a voice, even though you know you are meant to do amazing things, you still gotta honor your mother and your father. Still, like, you are not exempt. And I think that was really, like, we know Jesus is Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could have done anything. He could have said anything. But instead, there was a formation gap that had to happen. Before Jesus could actually start doing his ministry, he had to learn how to honor his mother. You understand what I'm saying? He had to learn when to speak and not to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me respect my mother. And the next encounter that we kind of see later on down the line is when Mary and Jesus go to this wedding. They run out of wine at the wedding. Mary come to Jesus and like, hey, we done ran out of wine. You know, use those barrels over there to make some more wine. And Jesus is like, why are you telling me that we ran out of wine? And she get to looking at the servants like, hey, whatever he tell y'all to do, just do it. And walk off. And guess what Jesus did? He made that wine. And not only did he make the wine, it was the best wine in the house. The host thought that, okay, boom, we ran out of wine. Y'all was actually saving the best for last. That's how the host looked at it. The wine was so good. But it's like, it's not even the fact that, boom, Jesus made the wine. He honored what his mother requested of him. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in our everyday, responsibilities and what we got going on and what we deem as priority and, not priority, whatever the case might be. But it's like we don't even take a moment to honor our mother when they request us to do something. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, for me, I spend a lot of time with my mom, and I'm still like getting to know her. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I can say, because I know she has showed up for me, I'm going to show up for that lady no matter what. You know what I'm saying? No matter the inconvenience. Like, that's just what I'm going to do for my mom, because at the end of the day, I know that she has always shown up for me. Like, anytime I've needed her. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, I want to do a better job with honoring her. You feel me? Not because I agree with everything that she has done, or, you know what I'm saying, the way she went about doing certain things. But at the end of the day, for me, it's just about honor. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm being honest, healing has taught me something. It has taught me that healing can make you aware, but if you're not careful, healing can make you arrogant. Because now you know boundaries. Now you know triggers. Now you know attachment styles. Now you know emotional regulation. Now you know communication. And if you're not careful, you'll start trying to parent your parent. And I found myself doing that. Oh, I feel like I'm raising my parents. Like, you start trying to diagnose your parents, correct your parents, manage your parents. And I'm going to just tell you, somewhere along my own healing journey, I had to ask myself, Naye, are you really trying to understand your mother, or are you trying to manage her? Yeah, when I sat with that question, it really hit me, because I was trying to manage her. I was trying to, like, now that I have all these tools, I'm trying to raise her and give her the same tools. And it's like, it's not coming from a place of understanding. It's coming from a place of correction. And that's why it's so important to, like, remove the title from your parent and just get to know them as a person. Get to understand their story. Get to know who they are before they became your parent. So that way you can try to begin to understand what it is that they're carrying. And my thing is, when you try to understand your parent's story, it doesn't erase the pain. It doesn't erase what you saw. It doesn't erase the hurt. It doesn't erase what you're still unpacking. It doesn't erase the arguments. It doesn't erase the tension. It doesn't erase the wounds. But one of the things that it does do is change how you carry it. Because now, when you see, like, your mom, like, when I see my mom now, I'm just seeing her. Her as a woman, her as a daughter, her as a young girl who probably had prayers nobody heard, tears nobody saw, pain nobody asked about, dreams she may had to put on pause. Like, parts of her she may had abandoned just to survive. And maybe, just maybe, that's where the healing really begins. Not when you excuse what hurt you. Not when you ignore what happened. Not when you pretend everything was okay. But when compassion gives you context and honesty gives you healing. So, on this Mother's Day, maybe your assignment isn't just to celebrate your mother. Maybe your assignment is to understand her. Maybe it's to forgive. Maybe it's to set boundaries. Maybe it's to have the hard conversation. Maybe it's to stop managing and finally start seeing. Because loving your mother and healing your childhood are not opposites. And if nobody told you, healing doesn't make you better than your family. Healing gives you the opportunity to love them differently.